Hello and welcome back to another edition of Random Videos. And today's topic is about sports. But before we get into sports, we need to understand something much more basic. To understand the importance of sports, we need to understand the importance of society. Like a society that doesn't uh, encourage the spirit of sportsmanship or even the very spirit of competition. Like if you don't appreciate that, then something is problematic, right? Why do we entertain ourselves with sports? Why is it so important to us? So these are the questions that are answered when you look at a society and how it deals with the very concept of sports, the very concept of competition. In India's case, it's kind of interesting because uh, uh, just look at the very canvas of how we have dealt in this particular regard, right? And it becomes very obvious that we haven't placed a lot of weightage on being competitive at a global scale, and that happened much later. Like it's not that we were the only country to be colonized, right? There were other countries, and they somehow broke that shackle of inferiority, and they moved ahead. But in our case, we, except for field hockey, I can't think of any other sport where we actually dominated. So it's interesting that today we have a population of 1.43 billion, which is a lot. And right now, I can only think of two sports where we are the world champion. One is carom, and the other being Neeraj Chopra's javelin throw. So I can't think of. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe I don't know. But I can only think of two sports where we are like dominating. The word is dominance, right? Because in hockey we dominated for the longest time. We didn't do that with cricket the way we did with hockey. Uh, so so yeah, it's interesting that our conversation about sport somehow you know like kind of centers towards cricket. It's like either or situation where you are either a fan of cricket and you don't care about any other thing. Like it's just cricket. We can't imagine ourselves being pocket dominant, even competitive in football or any other sports, right? So why are things the way they are, and why I believe that things are changing? Obviously, the last 1 week, or at least the last 9 days, have been very interesting with Chandrayaan, Chandrayaan 3 successfully launching itself, uh, and the whole vibe of it. Because when an event is celebrated as the victory of humanity, it's a very big deal. We don't appreciate it because we are used to pulling ourselves down. It's a clear sign of colonial hangover that refuses to go away. But the way other countries and people from other nations, like how they appreciated the whole thing, it it makes you aware that it is possible. It is possible to be competitive. It is possible to show some sort of dominance in one sphere, because when you succeed, the whole humanity celebrates. Then last week we also saw our Prabhu. I like to call him Prabhu Pragnanand, the chess prodigy. He going toe to toe with probably the greatest chess player of all time, Magnus Carlsen, and it was amazing the way even Magnus Carlsen said that in the interview. The whole monster mentality, the word he used was, and it's amazing that we have those kind of those kinds of breaks, getting through. And we've seen that on the women's sports side with hockey, and we are constantly seeing it. That we are seeing this movements, and it's very interesting. We also saw that recently with although it's in the heats, but still the relay team from India, you know, going trying to break the series. Uh, and we saw it with Neeraj Chopra, the whole confidence, the whole swag. it makes us aware that it is possible, that other sports have a chance and they will get in eventually. We will see uh, the rise of football. We will see the rise of not so popular sports, the the so-called others. We will see that happening. And someone rightly said that maybe the next 1 decade will be a deciding factor where other sports will try to grab the share from cricket, because cricket has its its kind of its talents so deeply into the market that after at the end of the day the market will be a fight for attention. It's a commodity, and it will be interesting to see how that unfolds. It will be very interesting. So yeah, I have my hopes high for for all these other sports which we rarely discuss, unless someone like Neeraj Chopra does the impossible and becomes a world champion, or Prabhu goes to final of World Cup, chess World Cup. We want these kind of examples, and it's interesting that they are happening. They are happening every now and then. They are happening. It's just a matter of time before we have many such breakthroughs. And although this channel is mostly cynical, but I like to be optimistic about this bit. I genuinely do.